Hi all, welcome to Salesforce in 5 minutes. In this video, we are going to learn what are functions inside Apex, why do we use function and when do we use functions inside Apex. But before getting started, if you really like my videos, I request you to please subscribe to this channel. So let's get started. So what exactly are functions inside Apex? But before that, let's understand what exactly the functions are inside Apex. Let's say you have some kind of code. So I'm going to write it as function. Okay. And inside function, let's say you have some kind of code. Okay. Inside this code, what you are trying to do is you are trying to, for an example, you are trying to insert the uh, account record. Okay, you want what you want is you are trying to insert the account record. Now this is a repetitive task, right? Whenever or let's understand it with a real example. Let's say you want to do data entry. Okay, the data entry, if you consider, is a repetitive task. Data might differ but the functionality is same. Whatever the incoming data is, you just have to fill it up inside the Excel sheet. So rather than always doing this data entry inside Apex, what you can do is you can create a function out of it. Okay, you can create a function out of it, and rather than doing separate data entry time by time, instead of that you can just call this function, and this function is going to do the data entry. Let's understand it in the Apex terminology. Okay, let's say you're inserting the account record. Okay, you have written a code to insert the account record. Now whenever you have to insert the account record, you're calling the complete class. Okay, you have written this particular code inside the class. Let's say class new class. Okay, you have written this code. I'm not writing exactly the code, but I'm writing the pseudo code. So inside this Apex class, what you have done is you have tried to write the code to insert the account record. Okay, and at the same time you're also trying to insert the contact record as well, right? So now let's say you want to insert the account record and the contact record inside the Apex class. Now you just want to insert the account record, but you do not want to insert the contact record in this case. But if you try to run this Apex class, as it's going to run the whole class itself, it's going to insert the account and the contact, but you just wanted that only account should be inserted, right? You did not want the contact to be inserted, but the account should be inserted. So what's actually happening is that as you're going to execute the whole class, it's going to insert the account and the contact. I don't want that. Now in that cases you use function. So what you can do is you can create functions inside it. Okay, whatever the repetitive task is, you can insert it inside the function, and you can call those functions separately. Now if I just want to insert the account, I'm just going to call the function 1. I'm not going to call the function 2, but only the function 1. So only the account is inserted and contact is not inserted at all. On the other hand, if I just want to insert the contact, I will do the vice versa. So let's understand it with a real-time example, but before that let's understand what is the syntax of creating a function. So basically function is simple. It's just going to hold a repetitive code, or a code which is going to do a repetitive task. Okay, so the syntax of the function is access specifier. What access specifier are, I've created a video on that. You can watch that video. I'll provide the link in the description. First is access specifier. Return type we are also going to understand what return type is in the upcoming video. uh, and the function name. The function name can be anything that you want to, anything, it can be anything you want to. Okay, so access specifier, return type, and the function name, and this function braces, and it's common around everything and anything. Okay, so let's try to write a function using access specifier. Access specifier are public, protected, global, private, whatever. So I'm going to write public. Okay, for return type just write void for now. Okay, we are going to understand in the upcoming videos what exactly the return type are, but let's write it as void. And function name can be anything. Okay, or I'm going to name it as moving parts. Okay, and that's our function. That's our first function we have created. Now I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it within this Apex class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write system.debug hi sf in 5 minutes. Okay, now if I want to execute this particular function, okay, only this particular part of the function, What I can do is I can go to the anonymous window. My first apex, already I have created the object. Of this object I just want to call the, instead of name I'm just going to call the function moving parts, that is my new, that is object name dot the function name or the variable name it can be. Okay, semicolon, execute. Now you can see SF in 5 minutes is executed. Now let's understand it. Why do we need this? Is functions. Okay, this is basically function. You have some code right now. I just have some code where I have to print high SF in 5 minutes. So now instead of storing it within a variable and calling it again and again, I can simply avoid storing it within a variable, and I can just call system.debug over here itself inside the function. So now if I just want to show hi SF in 5 minutes, I'm just going to call this function simple as it is. Okay, now I'm going to rename this function to move body parts, or let's say body function. Okay, and now move right, move left, move up, and move down. Now let's understand why these functions are very much necessary. Why do we write this function? We understood what exactly the function is, but why do we write these functions? Now let's understand this function which is printing move right, move left, move up, move down. Okay, now let's say if I execute this function. Oh sorry, it's going to be body function, body function. Let's execute it. Now if you check out the debug, it's executing every statement: move right, move left, move up, move down. What if I just want to execute move up or move right or move left? Let's consider this as like for an example, these are the actions that I have to perform, right? I have to move right, I have to move left, I move down, move up, whatever it is. And this anonymous window, which is nothing but the main class, main method, which is a brain of our apex class. Okay, in this, if I'm calling this function, it's doing all the operations, right? You consider this as my body, this is my brain, and if I give my brain just I just execute this function within my brain, it's doing all the things: move left, move up, move down, move left, whatever it is. So what if I just want to move right, or what if I just want to move left? That's where modularizing the code becomes very much important. So for each operations that you want to perform, what you can do is you can create separate functions one by one, okay, which is going to do that particular task. So let's call it as body function, and we'll call it as move right. Okay, we'll create more few functions. This function is specifically used to move right. Okay, next is, it's going to be move left, move up. Let's just keep it till this point. So now I'm just going to cut this and paste it over here. Move left and move up, I'm going to just paste this over here. So now this whole class can be considered as my body. Okay, but what if I just want to move right? Now as I've modularized the code, I can give commands to my brain just to move right. So if I just want to move right, I'll just call move right function. Simple. I don't now in that case I won't move left, up, down, everywhere. I will just move right because I specified the function. Inside this function I've strictly specified what operations I have to do, right? If you look into it now, if I execute move left, I will just move left, the move left will be printed. If I want to move up, just move up will be printed if I call it. So this is how you can modularize and distribute the task to each of these functions. So now this each of this function is independent. If I just want to move right, I'll just call move right function. I won't call move up. All the functions, all the statements won't get executed. Only that particular statement will be executed, which is responsible for that particular activity. So that's where you have to modularize the code so that it becomes reusable. So now I can also reuse this particular function in other classes as well. So let's say if I want to, in let's say class A or class B I've created, I want to just move right, so I can just call this function itself. I don't need to rewrite a function for it. And also each of these tasks is separately distributed. So this is why you write functions inside apex class. If you found this video helpful, I request you to please subscribe to this channel.